Hello my darlings, it's Chanel and today I am talking to you about short books. So for me, a short book is 200 pages or less. I want to be able to sit down and finish it on a very leisurely lunch break. And so I am reading short books and bringing them to your attention because I truly believe, like myself, wonderful things come in small or short packages. Owls might be cool, but hobbits rule. So let me tell you about the itty bitty books that I read for this reading vlog. So the first book I read is from a fellow booktuber pal, and it is called The Follower by Monty Adkins, whose channel I will link below. So Randy is having some kind of day at school. We follow Randy around whilst some poltergeist shit is going on, and he just doesn't know what to do. And before you know it, the world is ending. It's a hostile invasion. So this book comes in at 6 pages. It is an easy peasy fast read, and I would say read it if you like high school, doppelgangers, and clouds. And speaking of booktuber buddies who are also writers, I do plan on at some stage reading Nathan from Nathan's Nook's book. It's just the shipping costs with Etsy to Australia are astronomically high, so I just need to save up a little bit, but I will also link his book down below. The next book I read was Penric's Demon by Lois McMaster Bujold. I will put it down because I don't like the glare. And this is about a carefree lad named Penric who is on his way to meet his betrothed, his future wife, when all of a sudden a dying lady lay in his path, and he does the right thing by trying to ease her on into her next life. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depends upon how you look at it, she bequeaths him something with her dying breath. And that thing is a horde of demons who now live in his head and whom he names Desdemona collectively. His life suddenly changes course. He's no longer suitable marriage material, and he becomes a sort of scholar of sorts and a sorcerer. He skipped the line, so to speak, in terms of getting demons of his own. It's something that people have to work their way up, but Penric beat them to the post, and let's just say not all of them are happy that he skipped the queue and want to do something about it. And in the meantime, he has to be a very quick study and learn all about how to be a proper host demon daddy. This is a very cozy day in the life of a possessed sorcerer and his forming of new fuzzy friendships. Read this if you like wizened demons, respectful young men, and massive wheels of cheese. I then read In the Act by Rachel Ingalls, and this is about a white class middle couple. We have Edgar, who is an anal retentive, inattentive husband, and Helen, who is an unappreciated and unsatisfied wife. Edgar is one day acting super sus in regards to the covert work that he does upstairs in their attic, which he's very careful to lock and keep locked. So after Helen is finally fed up with his constant nitpicking and sequestering, she decides to go and have a gig, to go and have a little lookaloo and see what he's been up to. Turns out he's a bit of a kinky SOB. This book blends realism and absurdism. It has almost sort of a madcap English comediness to it, and the depiction of an unhappy marriage where neither partner are getting their needs met by their spouse was represented well. It also showcases the absolute lack of understanding between what men want and what women need. I would say it mostly focuses on the gender differences and marriage issues, but there are also some class issues that are happening in the background. This book is filled with a lot of loneliness, bitterness, and desperation. The finale is absolutely chaotic, but it kind of suits the story. Read this if you like disgruntled housewives, Pygmalion copycats, and the book Annie Bot. The next book I picked up is Monumenta by Laura Horworth. This book is set in Belgrade, and it's about a widowed mother named Olga, her adult children, and a proposed monument to a massacre. One day, 3 different architects arrive and tell Olga that they have plans to turn her house into a monument to a massacre / war crime. When she asks which one, they all cite different things, and their proposals for what they want to turn her house into are also very different. I really enjoyed the writing style of this book. I particularly like the way that the author introduced the character of Hilda, who is Olga's daughter. Hilda picked up after 3 rings. Her voice, as always, a flat, effectless hotel lobby, where the lifts to progress any further into the building had been destroyed. By Hilda. This book contains themes of familial grief, remembrance, and the question of whether and how to commemorate and memorialize trauma. The book overall just reminded me of Elena Knows. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it has a similar vibe to that. There were fever dream parts in the book. I didn't care as much for those as the rest of it, but overall I really enjoyed this read and would read more from this author. Read it if you like lilacs, winged hussars, and family dinners. The next book I picked up is called Mr. Cables by Ronald Malfi. This is a book about a man reading a book about a man reading a book about a man reading a book. Wilson is a best-selling author, and one day he receives a book to sign, but it isn't his book, but his face and name are on the book. And when he reads this strange, beguiling book, it's boring yet oddly compulsive. However, when anyone else reads the book, they are absolutely terrified to the point where they cannot stand to be in the presence of this book. The book is not meant for them, but him alone. And this unsettling book has Wilson on the hook. The book, for us, is incredibly unsettling. There's this constant ominous tone and dread to it. You were forever anticipating a jump scare that may or may not come. But whilst the dread is palpable, there still remains a glimmer of hope. I found it intriguingly spooky, and the mystery of the eerie book does hook you. The ending was a little bit ambiguous for me, but I was engrossed. I read this completely enraptured and with bated breath. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Read it if you like wallet chains, Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, and bus rides. The final book that I read for this short books reading vlog is Swallowed by Meg Smitherman. When you touch the grass touches you. This book literally takes Tree Hugger to a whole other level. So you have Jill, and Jill is a stubborn bitch, and she plans to keep her man. She is a botanist who is sent with a few other scientists and a military man to another planet because, lo and behold, as per usual, humans have fucked up Mother Earth. They have totally annihilated its life-sustaining ability, and they're holding on by the tips, by the nails of their fingers. And so they are sending a second expedition because the first expedition, let's just say only one person came back, and that one person was Jill's mama. So is she just going to be repeating her mother's experience, and is this planet hospitable? The emphasis on the spit. This book is for all the plant lovers out there, you kinky nature freaks. There is sex in this book. I rated it MA because it's explicit and on page. It could be considered kinky though, to be honest, but I'm going to keep it at MA. There's a lot of good girl, yes sir, so wet, so tight. Meg Smitherman does hot sex scenes, okay? She builds up the anticipation. It's not as hot as Thrum was for me, but I still enjoyed myself when I probably shouldn't have been enjoying myself. There were 2 other characters, scientists, that went to this planet with Gillian and her man, but I couldn't stand them. I really hated them. I think their names were Julian and Marcy, and I just felt like they were so unnecessary, and they just served to be an aggravation for me in the story. I would have just much preferred the extra characters to be bland and forgettable than to have the personality that these 2 did. Overall, the book kind of reminded me a bit of Bound Worlds. So if you liked the kind of sci-fi in that, you'll probably like the sci-fi in this, but this one's what I call a sci-fi horror erotica. So you're not coming so much for the plot. Well, there is a plot and it is intriguing, and you do want to find out the mystery of the planet and the murdered scientists, but that's not the main lure for this one. I absolutely love this book. I almost gave it 5 stars. It was so close. It was so close, but I will devour and swallow everything that Meg Smitherman writes. Read this if you like tickling ferns, paintings, and sex outdoors. I enjoyed all of the books that I read for this reading vlog. I do have a soft spot for short novels. I love being able to completely dive in to a world and then resurface and shake myself off in a timely manner. They just work for me. So let me recap all of the short books that I read for this reading vlog. Should I call it Get Shorty, or is that copyrighted? I kind of want to. You'll see whether I went with Get Shorty or just short books. We'll see. We'll see what I did. I read The Follower by Monty Adkins, and this wins the award for Quickest Earth Takeover. Penric's Demon by Lois McMaster Bugold, and this wins the award for Chillest Demon Possession. In the Act by Rachel Ingalls wins the award for Package Pirate Problems. Monumenta by Laura Horworth wins the award for raising questions about what home is and the recollection of history. Mr. Cables by Ronald Malfi wins the award for Best Book to Read on the Bus in One Sitting. And my favourite read of this reading vlog was Swallowed by Meg Smitherman. And this wins the award for bringing new meaning to the term green thumb. Whilst those are all the books that I read for the reading vlog, I am going out this evening sort of as a Galentine's thing with my best friend Kate. And we are going to the Kinky History show. I think it's about sex and history and erotica and comedy. I'm not quite sure what to expect, but I am down for it nonetheless. We're also going out to dinner and energy dependent. We might go dancing, but even though we're in the midst of summer, it's a winter's day today. It is freezing and frigid and wet and cold and awful, and I don't like the weather. So we might just call it a day after the comedy show. But I will bid you guys adieu here. And until next time, stay short, Star Child.
Here she is. Hey, honey.
No, I just don't feel like the fit is right. And this situation.
And your straps. Just wait. I'm running my battery out so hard, but this place is really pretty. Is that good? Oh my god, it's so good. They're really good, I said.